Good morning, everyone. Here is your fun fact of the day. You've heard of the Sega Genesis. If you think all the way back to the 90s, this was a video game console, one of the earlier ones. This was around the same time as things like the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, just SNES. A little bit before PlayStation 1, but the Sega Genesis comes from Japan. The game company that owns that comes from Japan. Now here's the funny thing. The company that was working in Japan didn't really have great welcome in South Korea during this time, in the mid-90s. South Korean imports were such that the company had to make alterations, had to work with Samsung, who is South Korean-based, so that Samsung, essentially, gets credit and some profits for marketing a different product, an imported product. So while the Sega Genesis was known to the rest of the world as the Sega Genesis, because it had to go through Samsung, and Samsung had to basically put their own name on it, if you played things like Sonic the Hedgehog, which originally came on the Sega Genesis, you did not play it on a Sega Genesis in South Korea. You played it on the Super Aladdin Boy console system. That's actually what it translates to when you put it into English. It's true. Link in the description below. I actually got this one off a trivia show recently. So, the Sega Genesis is not just a Sega Genesis. There's also the Super Aladdin Boy, which is essentially the same thing under a different name. Just had to be in South Korea due to import laws. Thank you for joining me for this fun fact of the day. See you again soon.